Hi, and welcome to my Hiromi Kawakami Strange Weather in Tokyo book review. In this video, I'm going to talk. First, I'm going to tell you how I acquired this book, even though I said so in previous videos. But for if you don't binge watch everything, and then I'm going to do a summary, and at first I guess I'll say like one sentence, like, okay, basically I love not knowing anything before I read something, but I do need to know if I want to read it or not, which is why I often just find like an author that I've heard is good, and then I just okay, everyone says Crime and Punishment is a good book, so I'm just gonna read it. Of course, that's not everyone is like that, so you can listen to the summary if you want to be spoiled. But before that, I will also give you reasons to read it without spoiling anything at all. Then I'm also going to I'm going to talk about the characters, and I'm going to compare this book to Murakami, because I mean there's even like two on the back of the book. There's like two different reviews that's doing that already. So I'm going to do that because I've read a lot of Murakami books, or quite a few, and yeah. So basically, and also then I'm going to talk about my feelings about the book, like that will probably sprinkle in between. So why I'm reading this book is because I was reading Murakami as usual, not as usual, not really. Kind of, oh, wow, Murakami. I have a lot of feelings about this dude, but I'm only going to talk about Murakami in relation to this. So, I was reading Norwegian Wood in a graveyard, and then a guy, a British dude actually, he comes by and he asked me if he could um, buy a cigarette from me because I was smoking as usual, and I said sure. And he saw I was reading Murakami, so, and of course I didn't take money for it. Like, why would you? I mean, if there sometimes if it's like Friday night and oh, I just touched my hair and I wear like dry shampoo. But what I do is I just like put my dry shampoo like a little poop on my head, and then I go downstairs and like comb it through. But like the area where I put the poop is like put the poop. I don't know. In clot. Also shout out because now I'm gonna start publishing these videos because I have a friend, my best friend lives in Korea. Shout out to you because you're the only one watching. So I'm gonna, but I'm still going to pretend that this isn't only just for future me and for um, my friend. I'm gonna pretend there's like more people watching because maybe not. Well, it doesn't matter anyway because this is still like, look at this. Isn't this cozy? I probably should have put on the fire, but um, I'm trying really hard not to get sidetracked. In this video, I even made like some notes I made, but it's like three notes. It's like four sentences because it was boring. So whatever. I'm just gonna talk. So how I acquired the book. And so anyway, he saw I was reading Murakami, and he was like, "Oh, you should read Hiromi Kawakami because she writes pretty similar." And he said like maybe it's because of like they're Japanese or whatever. Because like I've read nothing other Japanese, but now I definitely see what he means. It definitely is very similar to Murakami, which is why I'm going to talk about them in relation. Also, I'm not going to spoil any Murakami books, because then you can watch my Murakami videos if you want to be spoiled. But yeah. So anyway, so I put it in my notes. I was like, okay, Strange Weather in Tokyo. I put it in my to read list, and I was really thinking about reading this book because I was like, I need something else, and I've read so much Murakami and so much Kerouac, That and I need something to spice it up a bit, and also I'm just not ready to start on another Dostoevsky yet. Like I need some chill books in between, and this was a very chill book. Um, so I was really intending to read, but then my grandma invites me to this. I don't know what it's called. Like when someone like there was like three translators or not three translators, but three because my grandma's a translator, but not from Japanese. But she's a Finnish translator, and she knows a bunch of all of the coolest translators. So there was like three people who studied Japanese. We're gonna talk about Japanese literature, which was really interesting, and I learned a lot because I didn't know anything, but I learned. One guy did like a Japanese modern literature in like 10 minutes, which was really cool and also pretty funny. So I really like that, and he also translated this book, which I even got signed. How cool is that, huh? A signed book. So and this is like Japan's best female writer. It's not best, but I don't know. Is that true? I do think she's pretty popular. Anyway, that was really a funny coincidence. So, and they were selling the book. So my grandma was like, and I said, "Oh, I'm planning on reading this." And so my grandma bought it for me, which was really nice. There's a promote a different book, but that's like a bunch of short stories, and they translated it into Norwegian. So maybe I should read that, but then it's not really a book review book to do. Maybe more like talk about, interesting. So this is how Japanese short stories are, as I talked about in the previous video. It's like very different. Um, so that's really cool. And yeah, so that's why I'm reading this book. Now to the next thing on the agenda is to summarize this. Oh wait, before I summarize, why you should read this book. Um, okay, so if you first of all, it's very easy. It's like 200 pages. It's like just beneath 200 pages, like 195 pages long. Yeah, so 196 actually. I knew that. Oh, I mean, I really wish I could edit my videos, but I don't know how. And also, I'm too lazy. And also, I don't have an editing program on my computer. And there's no way in hell I'm gonna spend money on these videos. So I'm just going to have to accept that I sometimes act really lame, and then I act lamer in a futile attempt to save myself or correct myself, but it just makes matters worse. Anyway, um, it's a very short book. It's very simple. The language is really simple, um, and it's it's also easy to read because like I don't know, there's not a lot of because things that make books read like there's a lot of characters. There's not in this one. It's only like two main characters and like a couple of other, but they're like there's not a lot of characters, so you don't have to be confused. And if you're afraid of like not remembering Japanese names, there's no problem. There's literally like five people in this book, four people in this book. So yeah, there's like four people in this book. So remembering names, even though it's Japanese, if you have problem with that, no problem at all, unless you have a really big problem with remembering names. But that's anything. Also, like things happen quite fast. I mean, even though it's not like a bunch of things going on, but it's still like, because something I find is like it's easier to read books when things happen, like if it's a bunch of just observation and a bunch of like describing the scenery or describing the feelings, then it can be kind of like more difficult to read because you just don't want to turn the page because like okay, so the road was like this, whatever, and then you just don't want to read, and that makes it difficult because you have to force yourself to read it. So this one is like it's pretty fast paced. There's like and quite a lot of time passes too. So yeah, if you want to chill, now, I mean it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Um, I guess it's funny. I mean, I did smile and chuckle a couple of times. I think so. I think it's not like a comedy, but it's funny, and I don't know if I would recommend it. Hmm. So I gotta say, I didn't love this book, but that's kind of I mean, yeah, I didn't really like this book, and I mean, I think that it's worth a read, because anyway, it's like super short and easy to read, so it's like whatever. It was really nice. I just read the whole thing yesterday, and I was like falling asleep. This is still spoiler free. I'm gonna warn. Uh, um, but yeah, I was like almost falling asleep because yesterday I was in Sweden and I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. yesterday, and um, I traveled to like I traveled like at 5 was my plane, or like 5:35 was my plane back. So but I had to do some stuff in Sweden, some important stuff, and um I was really, really, really tired. Also, I didn't sleep a lot this weekend too, so I was really, really, really tired. And it was still cool to read, like even though, cause I literally was almost falling asleep. Like I had to like, but I didn't want to because then I wouldn't be able to fall asleep in the evening. So that kind of said something about how easy it is. I read like I was literally almost falling asleep, but I still managed to read it, and also it still managed to grab my attention. So that's really good. And I mean, I'm not shitting on it for being easy to read. Like that's really nice. I like reading books that aren't like difficult. Let me just chill. Oh gosh darn it, Kerouac. I hate you. Um, well, also, I forgot to mention at the end, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to read next and all of that. So I think if you should read it, yes, because it's only like 196 pages and it's really easy to read. And I mean, it was good. It was funny sometimes. It was the characters were. I mean, make up your own opinion. Okay, now this is everything that I would like to know before starting to read a book. So now I'm gonna do a summary, and it's still gonna be spoiler free if you're not like me and wants to know like nothing. Um, so there's the main character is named Tsukiko, and also like if you're like you have to do the Japanese pronunciation. I'm probably going to like sometimes use like Norwegian pronunciation. Sidetracked again. I'm gonna do like a pet peeve. People who are like, he's not Naruto, he's like Naruto or whatever, and it's like, what in Norwegian I say his name Naruto, which is also like totally different from Japanese, which is why it's like, okay, I'm stuck talking English. His name is Naruto now. I don't know. Maybe I should go. It just sounds stupid too. Like when people are like when people I say like, oh yeah, this French person, like, um, I'm like, oh yeah, Simone de Beauvoir, and it's like, no, you have to say like Simone de Beauvoir. I don't know. Maybe I pronounce her name correctly. I don't know French, but it's just annoys me when people are like, you have to pronounce it exactly like that, and it's different when it's like someone you know. But I also like in English, like my name is Ida, but I just say like, "Hi, my name is Ira" when I talk to people who are like American, because they're not gonna. I don't know. I just think that anyway. I'm gonna say Hiromi Kawakami and just pronounce it in English. This isn't even how I would pronounce it in my language. I would say like Hiromi Kawakami, and if I was trying to speak Japanese, I don't know, like Hiromi Kawakami. I don't know. Took Japanese lessons for 2 years and I learned nothing. Or I did learn like one thing and then I forgot everything. Um, Also in my translation, in the Norwegian translation, it's it was translated to Tsukiko, Miss Tsukiko, but I don't know, like they were probably like Tsukiko-san. It was kind of a little bit weird because we didn't use that at all in Norwegian. At least not like maybe like in old days actually. And when is this even set? It's kind of like a timeless thing. And they do have a cell phone, but that was kind of like a weird thing. So maybe I don't know when it's set. I don't know when it's written. I don't know anything. Usually I know because I'm reading. beat 2001. Okay, so it makes sense. That's like a cell phone, because that's the feeling I got. They were like a cell phone, not like oh yeah everyone has a cell phone, and not like it doesn't exist. What is that? I more like a cell phone. Good description. Um, so what was I gonna say? I could have put on makeup today because I'm going to the theater later with my grandma, but I don't know. My face feels really good right now, and I don't want to put makeup on it. Well, actually, I just want to, because I recently. This is the sidetrack. I'm getting back to the summary later. I'm just gonna say like usually I put, um, I don't like foundation because it feels gross. And the worst part, I hate washing makeup off my face, and also I do like putting it on. And but right now I just don't feel like wearing it on my skin. Like I feel like I kind of want to because it's so fun. Like oh wow, my face has changed. But anyway, I don't know. But what I really want to wear is like lipstick because I recently found a lip liner and that is so fun. Like my because I've always been like, why is my lipstick always so ugly? Like I can't apply lipstick, but then like lip liner is no joke. Like it looks so much better. It looks hella cool. So I'm like, oh my god, I want to wear lipstick every day. But then I kind of want to put on foundation if I'm gonna wear, because usually I don't. But like then I would do it like properly. Oh look, I braid my hair. Anyway, back to the summary. So Tsukiko, mm, she's 38 and kind of she's living alone. She's like a businesswoman. Doesn't really there's literally like nothing about her job because it's like a basic boring job. It doesn't matter. And she lives alone. She drinks alone. She doesn't really have any friends. Um, she's kind of peculiar. But there's this one place that she often goes drinking, and her old teacher, which she calls sensei throughout the book, it says in the Norwegian translation too, it's just sensei. Now I don't know how I feel about that. If, as in using the just, I mean, I feel like maybe it would have been weirder if it was like teacher, but at the same time, like I used to be a weeboo, and the fact that it's just like sensei is just like I know it's a regular Japanese word, and in Japanese it's not weird. Like what calling my Japanese teacher sensei is like not weird, but this is like the whole book is in Norwegian, and then it's like sensei. Like, was that a good choice? Like as a translator, because kind of you kind of can't quite forget the whole weeboo thing when reading it, and he has to be aware of that. I mean, it's not like it's well hidden that weeboos go around calling, like being like sensei. So I don't know, but she meets her teacher. I'm just gonna call him teacher. She meets her teacher, her old teacher, because she's 38. She doesn't go to school anymore. I mean, some people do, but she meets her old teacher there because he also frequents that place. Um, so and they kind of just start becoming friends, and that's what it's about. Is them becoming friends. They just like talk to each other. They start because both of them are like lonely. Doesn't really talk to anyone. His wife has passed. He's just like all alone, and like she's just all alone. So they just kind of, and they're all both really weird. Like the dialogue is really good. Something I do like about this book is the dialogue. I think that's is pretty funny. Um, it's there's some like because they just talk weird. They just talk kind of weird, which is like quirky characters and whatnot. But um, and yeah, so it's just about the two of them, those kind of weird people becoming friends, and that's the summary that I would like to hear before reading a book. Now I will move forward with a more spoilery summary. I'm not gonna spoil it. I think. No, I'm not gonna spoil it. Am I? I don't know. I would say it's a spoiler because I don't like knowing anything. But basically, well, actually, this is kind of spoiler. You know what? I'm just go ahead and talk about the summary. But why I'm like so confused is because there's no like really like plot twist or anything. Like you know how it doesn't really have to be a that obvious plot twist, but sometimes you're like, oh man, why did you tell me that I was gonna read this book? Well, actually, one plot twist is they start dating. She falls in love with him. which is like, are you kidding me? He's 30 years older than her. He's an old man, and she falls for him, which I was like reading the start, I was just like, come on, please let them be friends. Please let this be a cute story about two really weird people who are like friends, and they're like friends in their own way. And then it's like, no. Actually, I could have talked about some more before I spoiled, but whatever. Now the cat's out of the bag, and I can talk freely. One thing. So what happens? They meet and they talk a bit, and then she visits him, chapter Moon and batteries, and she's like, because he doesn't throw out old batteries, because they're like, oh no, they still have a little bit work, and also he's kind of a hoarder. He's a bit of a hoarder, this teacher. And next chapter, what is the English word? You know the thing that mushrooms. I thought of the drugs. Mushrooms. It's called mushrooms, or mushroom, picking up mushrooms. I wonder what the actual translation is, because picking up mushroom is a really bad one. Picking up mushrooms. That's not. Going on a walk and getting mushrooms. No, it's one word. This. I don't know. What is this? Picking up mushrooms. They go because the guy who works in the pub that they meet at and hang out at. Actually, and also important to mention is that they're still not like, oh man, I should have said all of this before I did the spoiler. Well, oh well, whatever. The bartender is he has his policy where he treats all his customers as it's their first time, like even though they're like frequent there. Also, another thing I should say is that they not, even though they're friends, like teacher and Tsukiko, like the two main characters, they're friends now, but they don't really hang out, like they just drink together. They meet at the bar like randomly. They never like call each other, because I don't know if cell phone exists in the start of the novel, but they don't really call each other. They don't really like, oh, I guess they do, but like cell phones, I'm still wondering about the whole cell phone thing. But they don't really call each other. Third time I try saying that before. And sometimes it passes, like a month passes, sometimes a week, sometimes they see each other every day. It's just like if they're there at the same time, then they're like, have a drink and eat some food together. And sometimes they'll like go to like 2 or 3 different bars, but there was one day where she went home with him, not like for any shady business, because that's later, way later actually. But yes. And she's like, what? Why is this? Oh wait, before that there was a chapter. No, was there? There was like a chapter called 22 Stars, where she's like drunk. Oh, they had a fight because she really hates one baseball team, even though she doesn't like baseball. She just hates baseball, which is like a quirky feature. She didn't really like baseball. I think she actually had to stop watching baseball because she just like hates the Giants. So they had a fight because they won, and she was just like so angry. It's weird. And they go. So the bartender Satoru invites them to go get mushrooms with also his nephew, whose name is Toru, and they're like the exact same. Like they look really similar. And they were like, "What? This is weird." He's like, "Talk to us like we're friends." And teacher said yes, and then Tsukiko was like, "What? Okay, sure, I'm in." And they get high. They do the drugs. They eat like in Norwegian it's called fly mushroom. You know, like a fly, not like flying. There's 2 different words for that. So, but it's called fly mushrooms. I don't know what it's called in English. But it's, you know, like the red one with the white dots, the basic one. What is that called? I know. Whatever. So, and then it's like New Year's, and they both like get hurt. Like she tries to change the light. Maybe this is like, maybe there's like some kind of Oh, this is actually this chapter is about something else, like how, well, kind of, because it's like she breaks the lamp and then she talks because she was visiting her mom and she was like, "Oh, we're so similar, but because we're so similar, we have nothing to talk about." Huh? Maybe that's like kind of like how she is with um, Matsumoto too. Like they're very similar, and also he like hurt his butt. He like fell on his butt and his butt really hurt. Um, and then it's like, should I now I'm just going through the entire novel. Why would I do that? Like, haven't you read it if you're watching this? Like, if you're watching this far, you should have read it already. But maybe it was a long time ago, so maybe I should like recount what's going on. Anyway, and then she meets like her old high school crush. Not crush. He was crushing on her, and he still is, and like they start dating and stuff. But just like kind of like he tries, and she's like, no, but she still goes out on a date with him, and then he invites her to this weekend trip because they meet at like this teacher reading thing. This is this is boring. I don't know. I wanna. This is boring. Just read the book. Just read the book, and then done. Like you read the book. Whatever. I'm gonna stop talking about like this summary thing. Um. So I'm. What if I instead talk about move to the next thing. So the characters. Kiko, 38. She's cool. I mean, she's funny. She's weird. Like I think that's very good with the Kojima character because he kind of shows how strange she is because he's really basic and he's like, oh yeah, we're always like this in school, and she's like, huh, I don't know. Well, she just seemed kind of absent-minded. She's like, oh, what? I don't remember. But it's just no, I'm just thinking about like the ending. Like why why would why would they start dating? He's an old man. And also, like they were literally dating for like 5 years and he died because he was an old man. And like she also what made it creepier was first of all he wasn't just a random old man. He was a like an authority figure. He used to be at least. And sometimes he talks in like his teacher voice and like what is wrong with people? Why do people always like fall in love with their teachers? And I mean it's good like sure he hasn't been her teacher in like 10 years, 20 years, and like now they're both adults, but he's like an old man. And I mean, she's 38, so she's like a grown ass woman, so like I guess it's still, it doesn't count like statutory rape like it would be if like when he was still like teaching her and stuff. And but it's still just weird. And what makes it really weird is that she keeps talking about how like she's like a child, like she was really grown up when she was like a child. But then she kind of aged in reverse, which I really like because I've been thinking about like how people have like different ages that they are, and but it's still like it doesn't. You're still, the rules for your age still apply. Like if you're, no, it doesn't matter if you're like 15, you can't like bang a 50-year-old. Like, can people stop? But anyway, what that made it just weirder because she kept talking about how like she's like a little child, and like Kojima, like the guy she was dating in high school, she went on like one date with him in high school, then he got a girl, started dating her friend, and like they were married for like 20 years, and but now they're divorced, and now they're dating, and he keeps talking about how like she used to be, and he's kind of good because you can kind of notice like how she is, because the teacher is also just really weird, so it's like, oh okay, they're just weird, but then it's like, wow, a normal person. But I think that it's just, and she's like a child, she's like, oh, I'm a child, and then she started acting more and more childish too after a while, and they're both like alcoholics, like they're all the time they're drinking, and like and then she just gets super hella wasted a couple times and just like tells him everything and like confesses her love, and like he has to like carry her home, and it's just like she's just kind of starts acting more and more like a child, and it's just weird. It's just, I think it's really weird. Like it could have been a really cute book about like two people from in different, like in the same situation, even though like their life has been so different, because he's like, he has grandchildren and she hasn't even been married, like, um and his wife is dead. His wife, I mean, at first she divorced him, but still, like, and he still thinks about her, and like she's jealous. And I guess there was the dream sequence that probably has a bunch of symbolism in that I should talk about. But whatever, I'm dumb. I don't understand this, but I do understand that it's hella weird. Like, they could have just been friends. Why would it have to like be this love story? Like, that was just. I mean, it wasn't that uncomfortable, but it's just, it's dumb. I don't like it. I don't like that there. Um, this, it's just weird. I'm just being a straight up hater now, and I just feel like it was a cheap way out. Like, it would have been so much more interesting, and and I think it would be a lot more interesting if they were friends. I think that if you would manage to like write a good novel about that, that would be so much more interesting. Um, but no, of course not. Or maybe it wouldn't be interesting because love is all we care about. But I really like the album cover, the book cover. It's a really nice picture. You should Google it, and also maybe read the book. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm happy I read it, but ugh. Why? Why were they dating? Like, he's an old man, and like, I don't know. I guess to each their own. I mean, she's an adult. Like, she can choose to date an old man. Like if you're like 20, you can't. If you're 20, you can't date someone older than 30. That is something that I stand by. But if you're 38, I don't know what's going on. Like, maybe, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be 38. Maybe it's not that weird. Although it is, though. I'm pretty sure it still is. But I don't know because I haven't been 38 yet. So I don't know if it's like that creepy. Because the problem is like huge age difference creates like this power imbalance and you're at different stages in your life. But they're like, oh, okay, they're actually in kind of the same situation where they're just like hella weird and doesn't have any friends. Also, he keeps talking about how like she doesn't know anything. Like, it's not even like that's the thing. Like, the age difference is really, it's not even hidden. Like, I feel like a lot of the time when people want to be like pedophiles, it's like, oh, but she's really grown up, even if it's like her body or his body, or like their brain, like they are really smart, they really know stuff, they and like you, I feel like a bunch of time when there's a huge age gap, you just keep saying like, oh yeah, but the older person is like childish and the younger person is like very grown up, very adult like. But here's like the opposite. It's like, oh yeah, she's acting like a child and she feels like a child, and he keeps telling her like how she was like bad at school, and it's just like, oh yeah, he's an old man. Like, it's not even pretending that there's not a huge age gap, which I guess is nice. Um, but it's just, I don't know. And I gotta talk about like Japan and pedophilia. Like this is, of course, there's pedophilia everywhere, and everyone's a pedophile, which, and it's terrible, but it's not as ingrained in the culture. Like, yes, kids way too young are definitely sexualized in America. Like, Millie Bobby Brown, for example, is just like very and stressful, and like child actors is just very, especially female child actors, is just very stressful because like children are sexualized, and been a bunch of like movies played by children who's like, you should have, no, like, no, children are sexualized everywhere, and especially with the whole like daddy kink on their bodies. It's like, no kink shaming. It's fine if you're into that, but it's not fine to go around like just publicly, completely in the public, just being like, oh yeah, this is what turns me on. Children stuff, like this is like a freaking binky and like toys and like children's toys. Not even like, I would rather someone like go around like with a huge ass dildo and be like, ah, I love putting this in my butt. Because then it's like, okay, sure. I mean, I didn't want to know that. But what I really don't just, people shouldn't normalize kid stuff being sexy. Kid stuff isn't sexy, or some people do think it's sexy, and that's fine. Like, if you're just engaging in like consensual intercourse with someone close to your own age, even though one of you is pretending to be a child, it's like, fine, just do that. Go ahead, do that. That's fine. Like, okay. But to talk about it is to just bring children into this, and it's like, no, it's not okay. Like, just don't make it trendy. Don't make like fashion where you're like daddy's little girl, like the freaking Halloween costume, Harlequin. What? Totally forgot. And it's like, okay, just, it's fine if you have it. Just don't make it like a fashion thing, and don't make it like popularized. I mean, why is it popular? Why is it popular to like act like a baby? Like, why is that, or like, why is that popular? It's fine if you don't like it. Like, sure, like, you're welcome, Freud. Like, are you happy now? Like, everyone's just walking around like this, and it's just weird, and I think it's completely fine. You're not, I mean, it's fine if you're into that. It's 100% fine, but it's not fine to make it trendy. And anyway, so this is how, but then that's like in the West, and like in the West, I don't know geography or anything, but in America, it's like, yes, also very pedophilia everywhere, very pedophilia. And this is, I realize I do this face when I say something lame and I don't know how to backtrack it. I'm like, and then I like try to move on. So basically, if I do this face, like, just pretend the last 10 seconds didn't happen. But in Japan, it's also like a huge ass problem. I think that, I'm pretty sure they have like a really low age of consent too. What is it called? The sex age? No, that's not what it's called. I don't know what it's called. In Norway, it's 16. You can have intercourse with people if they're 16 and you're 16 and older. And if you're younger, it's illegal. Well, of course not. Like, 14-year-olds can't touch each other. But that's when you get in trouble. I don't know what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. So, and in Japan, it's also just like way more normalized, I feel like, because they're all like about the cutie thing, which is like good. Like, people like cute stuff because that's like nice and like biological and everything, and like they have also evolved into becoming cuter. Like Japanese and a lot of other countries, some countries are just like, they have evolved to be cute because it's like, that's like they literally just have evolved like baby features. And like, I don't know, I watched like this YouTube video or something, maybe I'm completely wrong because that's like not the best source. But just pedophilia in Japan is just like, because I'm just shocked how normalized it is, because as you know, I watch a lot of anime, and I also grew up, like, I learned how to read by reading like manga. I don't really watch anime at all anymore because I realized everything wrong with it. And now, well, I stopped watching it in middle school because I realized everything wrong with it, and then now I'm not that into it. Simply, I've tried, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'd rather read Kerouac. I just can't really get into it anymore, which kind of sucks because it was really fun, but also like terrible because there's so much like just the racism, sexism, everything. I mean, there's some. Oh my god, you gotta read Nana. That's the best. Please give us more Nana. Please return Ayasawa. Anyway, and then, for example, how there's like always like this one pedophile character that's just like accepted, or like in harem animes. That's something I was really shocked. I was really shocked because in harem, um, in harem mangas and animes, there was always like this little sister type and like this little girl, like in horror mangas, if you don't know, it's like you have a bunch of different you have a bunch of different women. You have like one that's like exotic. Maybe she's black. Maybe she's just like Chinese. Like maybe that's why she's exotic. But you have like some people like this. Some people like blonde girls. Some people like tsundere. Some people like angry or like cute girls or whatever. And then there's a lot of time there's like this little sister type, like this cute type, and it's just gross. And also, I mean, everyone knows this. Everyone knows how it's like they love having these children's bodies, and then they're like, oh, but actually, she's a 3,000-year-old vampire, and it's like, still a pedophile. And it's just the normalization is disgusting, and what to do? It's like it's not helping anyone. It's not okay. So yeah, this book was kind of, I mean, again, I haven't been 38 yet, so maybe it's not that weird to date old men. But, it's just, I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. I just realized that, this video is literally like 40 minutes long, and I don't know how to edit, so it's gonna be 40 minutes long, which is way too long. So I'm not gonna compare it to Murakami in this video because I don't have time. It cannot be more than 45 minutes, so I have 3 and 20 seconds. Yes, minutes. No, 4 minutes and 20. No, 3 minutes and 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Yes, something like that. So I'm just going to like do the outro because you know how I spend a lot of time talking about everything. So I'm gonna, in a different video, I'm going to compare, because that I think would be really interesting. That's really what I wanted to talk about. I didn't mean to go on a pedophile rant, but I mean, it was relevant, so what I'm going to do is, okay, so I was gonna say like, what is the next video is gonna be and stuff. Well, now we know one of them is gonna be Kawakami versus Murakami and compare, because it's gonna be so much fun. And maybe I should just go all out in that video, just spoil it all. No, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. I will at least give warnings. And I think I'm gonna read Big Sur by Kerouac. I found out they have. I ordered Tristessa to the library because I really want to read a book that's like 99 pages, because I love finishing reading books and I don't want to read long books. And I ordered that to the library, but it's not gonna be there because I did not want to go to the one it was at. And I found out they had, because I was like, okay, maybe I should start reading a Jack Kerouac biography soon. And I found out they had, and then it's like, oh, the best one is like Joyce Johnson, because she actually collaborated with him. She has also written Minor Characters, where she talks about like her life, because she was dating Kerouac when he wrote On the Road, which is like so exciting, because like I want to know, like I've read Carolyn Cassidy, I really want to read Aline Lee's biography as soon as I get my hands on it. And the library did have like the main characters, because the Aline Lee biography, Aline Lee is Mardu Fox in the Subterraneans. I really want to read that and talk about it before. I really want to read that. Also, my dress is new. I bought it yesterday. Isn't it nice? But I'm so happy because they actually have Joyce Johnson's. I have 1 minute. Okay, so I'm gonna head to the library right now actually, and I'm gonna give back Distillation Angels, I think. Oh no, I can't, because I want to write down some paragraphs. I've wrote down some pages that had really good paragraphs. And I think I'm going to do a more in-depth book review. Actually, that was also something I want to say, is that I'm going to do a Distillation book review, but I think that I probably won't do a full one. I think I'm probably going to like mix it together and instead compare it to a different book by him, or maybe like I'll read Big Sur, do a Big Sur book review, and then I'll do like a huge Kerouac book review thing, or maybe after Tristessa too. So I'm going to talk more about Distillation Angels, but I'm going to talk more about Distillation Angels. Oh wait. I'm going to talk more about Distillation Angels in comparison to other books. I Probably, but because I have more to say about it. But I've already made like 2 videos on Desolation Angels. I didn't even like it, so what am I even doing? I'm gonna to the library, gonna read like Big Sur and whatever. So, bye.